Welcome everyone to the I was going to say welcome everyone to the Yellow Cat Performance, but that's the brand. Good morning everyone and welcome to the Becoming Yellow podcast. This is our podcast where we talk about all things health and fitness, men's health, parenting, performance, and just pretty much anything in general. And today we're recapping the race that is UTA 22 and my performance on the day. So, without further ado, let's just dive straight in. Now, we're pumped up because we just got our finish time fixed up. So if you were following along, and I haven't even got an email confirmation responding yet. I just logged in, searched my bib number, and on the website, there's my time that I actually finished. So we raced hard on race day. We were gunning for a sub 4. But we had no training, we were sick, it was wet and rainy conditions, so we would have honestly been happy with a sub 5, stoked with a PB. You know, really the PB is what I was gunning for. I wasn't in 4-hour shape, I was unwell, you know, there were so many things holding me back from doing a sub 4, but it didn't stop me from at least trying to pursue it. Got up race morning, we got on the bus to QVH, Queen Victoria Hospital, and we chucked on the Garmin Pace Pro 11:09 per kilometer, which was going to make me run the 22 Ks in 4 hours. We had everything set. We were going to go for the 4 hours, even subconsciously knowing that I'm probably nowhere near that, especially after what happened at Sydney Hocker Half, where we done 3 hours and 9 minutes for a 21.1k road race. So we still done it, still thought, let's do it. We're going to gun for it. Now, for anyone who doesn't know trail running or the differences, basically I ran 22 kilometers. I climbed 1,154 meters of elevation. Sydney Hocker Half, I think we honestly do 80 meters of elevation, I think. So that's nothing. I climbed 1,154. I don't know what to compare that to, but that's what I climbed. Now, we woke up, we set everything to run a sub 4. That's what we're going to try for. That's what we're going to aim for. But one sort of rule of thumb for runners or for new runners is if you've recently run a half marathon, then you're like a road half marathon, then your trail half marathon is about double that time. So if we rewind back 12 months when I've done these 2 races, 10 days apart, same as what we did now, I ran Sydney Hocker Half last year in 2:45, but I did get injured. So I was more of about a 2:20, 2:15. I was even close to 2:10. Sort of would depend how my fitness was. But say 2:10. If we double a 210, that's 420. I ran last year 4:36:55. 4 hours and 36 minutes and 55 seconds is what I did for UTA 22. Basically, exactly doubled my Sydney Hocker pace, you know? Pretty much exactly doubled it. So coming into today, knowing that, you sort of double your time of a half is sort of your trail pace, knowing I ran 309 and knowing I ran 309, giving it my absolute all. I'm not going to lie, I did have worries and I did have doubts in the back of my mind. I did, not going to lie. I was worried about what my time was going to be. Essentially, going off the doubling your time, we would have been roughly at about 6 hours and 20 minutes is basically the condition we were in to run essentially UTA 22 this year. Also take into account that I haven't done any training, haven't done any much road running, let alone hill climbing and all that kind of stuff. We were definitely worried. We were definitely had in the back of my mind that this could be a crap day all round. But I've teased it enough. We ran UTA 22 in 2025 in 4 hours, 16 minutes, and 56 seconds. 19-minute, 59-second PB from this time last year. 16 minutes short of our 4-hour goal time. We were hot. We were on song. Now I'm gonna read these. I'm gonna read these kilometer times. I'm gonna read my paces for you because. So, if you haven't run UTA 22, you start at Queen Victoria Hospital. You run down into the Megalon or Megalon, whatever it's called, valley. You run up across the valley floor, climb a little bit. You get near the Three Sisters. Now, this year compared to last year we went up the stairs at the Three Sisters. This year we got to the base of the Three Sisters and cut back across to Scenic World and went up the further steps. So that's the only differences from this year and last year. Essentially, people say the further steps are harder. I don't know. At the end of the day, you're at the bottom of the valley and you have to climb one way or another back to the top. So, they're both tough. Both tough days out. Now, me, my performance on Friday was grit. It was hard work on race day. That's the only hard work I'd done because I did no training. But it was also knowledge. Because I had raced this before and because I know my body. Trail races are different to road races. On a road race, because it's mainly flat, you've got a mental picture of what the race is going to look like, where you're going to push, and you can work all that out. But essentially, the way I run my flat races is to do a negative split. Start slower and get quicker. Now, I don't know if that's just me new to running and I just haven't put that down pat, or what it is. I don't know what it is. Still trying to get on top of that in the road races. But me knowing the course at UTA 22, I decided to run this as a positive split. So by me running it as a positive split, I knew my fastest kilometer I would have to do was about 7 minutes and 10 seconds. And then the last kilometer I think I could have done in 18 minutes, I think it was. And so basically if I stuck to that, we've done a sub 4 hour. Now, I'm going to read my pace times. So, I'm just trying to pull it up. And I've actually looked at it on the computer. Laps. Here we go. So, kilometer 1. I'm going to actually read our ascent and descents as well. So, kilometer 1, we ran at 6:03. We descented 48 meters. Kilometer 2 was only a 9-meter descent, and we done 7:45. Kilometer 3, we descended 97 meters. We ran 6 minutes 23. Kilometer 4, we ran 6:54, and we descended 105 meters. Kilometer 5, we ran 6:24, and we descended 111 meters. So we were fucking flying. Kilometer 6, we descended 64 meters, and I ran 8 minutes 20. Now, what happened there was I was getting indigestion because of what I had eaten that morning. I had my normal breakfast pre-races, my Wheat Bix, fruit, yogurt, the works. But I just think it was too much in my belly, seeing we were descending into the valley. I think it was just too much. So I had a bit of indigestion, slowed down 8 minutes 20. Kilometer 7, we've done a 6:23. We descended 95 meters. Kilometer 8, we've done a 7:05, and we descended 119 meters. Kilometer 9 is the first sort of ascent we do. We climbed 110 meters, and we ran 14:15. So that was the first. By this stage, we had gained a 10-minute buffer. 10-minute buffer on finishing on 4 hours. I was gunning it. I'm like, heckers, we've got this. Like, I was like a gazelle those first 8 kilometers going downhill. At UTA first aid station isn't till kilometer 13. So you go all the way down to the bottom of the valley. You climb a little bit, down a little bit, climb a little bit, down a little bit, climb, and there's your emergency aid station. First 8Ks, like a gazelle. I knew UTA. I know what it's like because I've done it before, and I know my body, and I know what I can do. So I knew those first 8 kilometers is where I can build a buffer. It's where I can push my body, because I'm a bigger person and because I've got strong quads and strong legs. I knew that I could use gravity to bring me down the mountain, running like a gazelle, keeping my heart rate nice and low. I think my highest heart rate in this first heart rate, it was actually pretty high, 177, 180. So higher than I would have liked, but that's my fitness. I haven't been training. But I knew that I could do those fast paces going downhill. 9th kilometers where the first uphill came. We climbed 110 meters. Took 14 minutes, 15 seconds to do. I did not run any of that. I just walked it. I knew that if I was to run, because I haven't done any hill training, any trail running, any flat running to prepare, I knew running an uphill would just stuff me over and it ruined my race strategy. So my strategy was to run like a gazelle on the downhills, walk the uphills, run the flats. So first uphill, strictly walked. 14 minutes, 110 ascent climb, not bad. Next K, we done kilometer 10, we done 9:43, and 9:43 was still a bit of a climb. It was 43 climb, but also 45 descent. So it averaged out as essentially being flat, but we climbed and went down. So that's why I got 9:43. Kilometer 11 was strictly a climb. We climbed 43 meters, ran it in 13:06. Kilometer 12, strictly 108 meters downhill, 5:36. That was our fastest kilometer of the day. After those two uphills, I knew this downhill is where I could gain even more time. Because after those two uphills, I lost my 10-minute advantage to only a 3-minute advantage. So when I got to this downhill, gazelled it, brought it back up to 6 or 7-minute advantage from my 4-hour goal time. We've then hit the emergency aid station. We only stopped there for about 3 minutes, topped up our water, had an orange and a watermelon, and off we went. Next kilometer, straight after the aid station, you go 130 meter climb. So we done that in 16 minutes and 14 seconds. Then kilometer 14 was a 90 meter climb, and we done 17:08. These 2 kilometers are probably the kilometers that sort of probably, these are definitely the 2 kilometers that straight after the aid station we were getting tired, and they were just very steep, very long hills. So it took a bit longer than we would have liked. 16:14 and 17:08 for 2 kilometers. We did end up climbing about 210 meters in those 2 kilometers. So that definitely did slow us down. But then kilometer 15, we still climbed another 125 meters, but we done it in 16:30. Then kilometer 16, we're starting to get to the back end. We're getting close to home. This one was a bit of a climb, bit of a decline. So we climbed 41, but descended 31. So we were able to do kilometer 16 in 10 minutes and 16 seconds. Kilometer 17, we done in 15:03, and we strictly climbed 94 meters. Kilometer 18, we done in 10 minutes. And this one was a 71 descent, but also a 28 ascent. So in all of these periods in the descenting, I'm gazelling it down, trying to gain as much time as possible. Between the aid station and kilometer 16, I lost my advantage, and it dropped back to, I think my slowest was, I think -3 or 5 minutes. is the furthest behind my goal time I went. So then kilometer, because as the kilometers are coming, as I'm progressing further, my positive split is making each kilometer run slower and slower and slower, but I'm still keeping a steady pace that I possibly can. So kilometer 18, we ran in 10 minutes. That's probably where we gained a lot of time, because that kilometer I was only supposed to run at like 13 or something. Kilometer 19, we ran in 15:01 and we climbed 81 meters. Kilometer 20, we done in 12:53. And we descended 40, but climbed 20. Kilometer 21, we done in 17:32. And we had actually climbed 86 meters in the 21st kilometer. So after running 21 kilometers, we had 1 kilometer to go. After running 21 kilometers, we had been running for 3 hours and 48 minutes and 36 seconds. I had 12 minutes to do the last kilometer, which on any other trail race is something that for me and my fitness state is possible. It all depends on how the race is. Depends on what the course is like, what the trajectory is like. The last 800 meters of UTA 22, the last 800 meters of UTA 50, the last 800 meters of UTA 100, the last 800 meters of the UTA miler, the last 800 meters of UTA 11. You're climbing the further steps. You climb 183 meters of elevation. And that's not the only issue as well. Depending on where you are in the pack, there's also a train going with you up those stairs. So there's a lot of factors going into this final kilometer. I had 12 minutes to get it done, to finish within 4 hours. But 12 minutes is just not enough time for my fitness levels and where I was in the pack. We had people collapsing, people fainting, as they're like in the middle of the stairs. You've got everyone like in a train going up those stairs. It's very steep, handrails and everything. So that is basically, we didn't give ourselves enough time. But essentially, even from last year and this year, it takes about half an hour to climb up those stairs. So I ended up doing the further steps, the last kilometer, in 28:06. So that last kilometer is not essentially what ruined my 4-hour time, but it was just the logistics of the ending of the race meant that 12-minute buffer for the last kilometer is not enough. So now I know this for future and for next time, that I need to be at the bottom of those steps half an hour before I'm wanting to finish, because it's going to take time. On my watch, I was watching the time count down, and I think by kilometer 20, we had then gained an 8-minute buffer. But the thing is, we had our watch set on a road 21.1 kilometers, not 22 kilometers. So I think I finished my Pace Pro saying I was I finished my Pace Pro at 3:48, so saying I was 12 minutes out of pace, and I'm like, cool. But I still gotta the rest of it was sort of no man's land type thing. But I knew that I had to get up the stairs, and I didn't know how long that was going to take. But those stairs made it hard for a sub 4 hour. But we climbed those stairs. Once we got to the top, we started running. And then we literally get to the last 100 meters, and I started cramping everywhere in my lower limbs. The video that I'm going to be posting is going to be crossing the finish line, but I'm just hobbling over that finish line. I was trying to run over that finish line, but every step I was taking, I was trying to elongate my calves to stretch my calves, because my calves were just cramping in on each other as I was trying to take a step. It was messed up. But that's our time splits of UTA 22. It was a very, waking up that morning, we just didn't know how it was going to go. I had a dream, I had a plan, and I had a goal. But I hadn't prepared. Going back to what I said last week, God says when you pray for rain, make sure you've at least plowed the crops. I didn't do any plowing. I did pray. I didn't do any plowing though. But my planning would have got me a sub 4. My preparation would have got me a sub 4. Am I upset with a 4:16:56? No, I'm stoked. I'm ecstatic. I guess that shows my mental resilience that I've built and developed over these last 18, 24 months. It also shows the grit and determination that I've got to chase down these goals and to actually hunt these ambitions that I've got. Reflecting on UTA 22, I love road running. I do. I love the training. I'm still going to road run. But I think after Sydney Marathon 2025, I'm going to shift my focus to trail running. This race just shows me, you guys may not see this, but for me, myself, it shows me the potential that I feel I can have within the trail running scene. I also enjoy the trails more than the road. I enjoy the struggles, the mental resilience of needing to climb those 183 meters in the last kilometer. It's a challenge that anyone can do. Anyone can do. But I feel, to me, this challenge is more enjoyable, more attainable, more achievable, more fun than trying to run a half marathon in a set time. I feel that there's so much more unpredictability in trail running, and I think that's what's sort of drawing me towards trail running. So I'm not going to stop my road running. I'm still going to enter races, all that kind of stuff. But after Sydney Marathon, I'm changing trajectory. I'm setting my sights on trail running. I've already booked in 50k at the end of the year, Human Hovel 50k Ultra in Tumbarumba. That's going to be a challenge. It's one that we're going to fight hard for. I've already made the decision that I will not be running Sydney Hocker Half Marathon next year, only because of the timing. It is too close to UTA, and I think UTA is going to be one of my A races next year. I haven't decided the distance yet, but I'm not sure if I'm going to enter UTA 22 and aim for a more ambitious time goal, or if we'll go into UTA 50. I'm already going to do 50s next year, so I may build on my UTA experience, my UTA performances. I might just build on that, and I'll book other 50Ks next year elsewhere. I mean, Koski 50, that could be on the cards. Why not? But yeah, so still figuring out what's going on next year. We've got a training race coming up at Rafferty's Coastal Run 36Ks. Yes, I say it's a training run, but I do have, time goals, time ambitions. We're wanting to get a 6-foot track qualifier time. So from memory, I think that's like 4:30. We've done it 6:30 last year. So we want to get a 6-foot qualifier time, 6-foot track qualifier time. So that's what we're aiming for. I don't know if I'm actually going to run 6-foot marathon next year. I probably won't. But I want to get the qualifying time. Actually, if we get the qualifying time, may as well just enter to try run it. I don't know, that's for the future. Got our sights set on the Sydney Marathon. We're aiming for a 4-hour marathon this year. Aiming for a 2.5 hour PB from last year. Very ambitious. That's my biggest ambitious goal for this year. It's what we're chasing, it's what we're hunting down. This year has just been crazy already with running. From not having any motivation 3 weeks ago to run, to running Sydney Hocker Half, realizing I need to run, and just like being deflated from my performance to my performance on the weekend at UTA. It's just incredible. An incredible 2-week turnaround. But I love the grit. I love the hard work. And I'm actually excited to see what my UTMB score is going to be for this UTA 22. Because done a lot better than last year. Our global rank was 1638, 251st male from like 20 to 30, 123rd male in general. Let's have a look. Okay, so I can't see it here, can I? Ranking. So I actually find this like pretty interesting because I crossed emergency aid station 631 and then to the next checkpoint I actually gained like 30 places. Then from that point to the further stairs I gained another 40 places. But then from the stairs to the top of Scenic Water, I actually lost a lot of places. And then from the top to the finish line, because I cramped, someone freaking overtook me. But yeah, crazy day out on the trails. It was muddy, it was wet conditions, it was raining. It wasn't conditions for a PB. It was not conditions for a PB. But I wanted the PB and I knew I was getting the PB. It's funny, me and my wife talked about the day before, trying to work out timing and all that kind of stuff. And we made like a little bet. She was like, babe, let's be real, you're going to be like 6 hours. I said, no, babe, I'm going to break 4 hours. And she's like, let's make a bet. And her bet was she would win if I was slower than 5:15. And I'd win if I was faster than 5:15. And here I am on the trails, no reception, nothing, and I'm gunning for it. Got to a point where I was 7 minutes ahead of pace, and I tried to text Letitia. I was like, babe, I'm gunning for it. I'm hot, coming in hot, like it's gonna be 4 hours. And like none of those text messages went until I got to the further steps. But I ended up smashing a little bet that we had by an hour. It's just like I hadn't trained, I hadn't done anything. Who would have known I was going to pull that performance out of the bag compared to what I'd done 2 weeks prior in the Sydney Hocker half. It is what it is. But anyway, that is my UTA race recap. If you're into trail running or if you're not, I'd recommend UTA as a race for you. UTA 22 is good, it's fun, it's an easy entry point. You still do climb like nearly 1,200 meters of elevation, but it's good. You start at Queen Victoria Hospital, you go down into Megadolon Valley, whatever it's called. Because last weekend was wet, rainy conditions, it was foggy pretty much the whole way. You couldn't see much into the valley. But last year when we ran it, the views down into the valley were amazing. But then once we did get to close to the golden staircase, it wasn't foggy anymore, started opening up. We could see the mountains up to the Three Sisters and up to Scenic Water and all that. That was beautiful. Beautiful. If you haven't done a trail race before, UTA is definitely one that needs to be on your bucket list. And they've got easy entry points of UTA 11 and UTA 22. You don't have to run an ultra marathon to enjoy the trail racing scene. The atmosphere was electric. It was amazing. Even though you're down in the valley, so for UTA 22, you run the back half of UTA 50 and the last quarter of UTA 100. Even though you go into the valley and there's no one there, it's just got you and the runners around, it's still a good vibe. Like, it's good just running, sweating, soaking up the trails. I haven't experienced this because I've obviously raced in the shorter races, but I was told that, because I'm in a group chat and someone was saying about how it is in the middle of the night if you're running on your own. And they said even if you're running on your own, you know, you always pass people. Sometimes you end up linking up and running in a group together. But even when you're not, they said the serenity, the mindfulness that you get of just running on your own in the trails at night is just something that can't be replicated. And that's something I can't wait to do when I get into these longer distance events. 50k that I'm doing in October, we've got a 10-hour cutoff limit, so don't think I'm doing any night running there. But if we successfully do the 50, then we'll do a 50 next year, maybe top it off with 100 at the end of the year. But we have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, we're just really enjoying running trails. It's going bloody good. Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in to this episode today for this UTA race recap. Video will be coming out in the next couple of days. Hope you give that a watch, enjoy it, give it a like, share it around with your mates. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please let me know, give it a thumbs up, like it on whatever platform you're listening on, and definitely share the podcast with your friends and family. It helps me out a lot. Until next time, this has been Simon from Yellow Cap Performance. Peace out, and don't forget, keep becoming yellow. We'll see you in the next one.